So I think I'm starting to realize that I may have built a life inadvertently that I did not necessarily want. And it's not all bad. There's a lot of good in it, and that's where it gets a little hard because it's not all bad and there is some good in it. I feel almost ungrateful or like rude for being like, but is it really what I want? And I don't know. And this might be just rambling, but there are moments when I'm like, how did I end up here? Like how I look at the last 4 or 5 years of life and I'm like, my 30s are almost over. I turn 38 next month. I've done a lot of interesting things. I've done a lot of cool things. My 30s were marked by a time of me like stepping away from the church and from the faith I grew up in. I left my career. I started a whole new other career. And in that process, I mean, lockdown happened and a bunch of other stuff happened. And I'm not sure what I'm doing. And there's been so much change. Like my mom passed last year and my work life is not what I thought it would be. I was freelancing a couple years ago and now I'm full-time for like a government agency, which is not a bad thing. But I have moments and more often that I'm like, is this the rest of my life? Do I wake up and answer emails and set up meetings and, talk about briefs and, how do we optimize marketing? Is this it? We take the paycheck, we pay the bills, we do the groceries, you get a sale, you get excited for the sale. Maybe you're like, have a fun activity with your friends once a month on a weekend. I don't know. And then there's moments when I'm like, remember when we used to make art all the time? Remember when you made no money, but like you got to choose how you spend your time and there's ideas floating around everywhere and people around you are all like auditioning and writing and building and I know that it's easy for that stuff to be glamorized and I was broke and I don't mind not being broke anymore, but there is something about that freedom that I miss and there's something about just, it was a different kind of stress, and sometimes I wonder if, I don't know, if I'm still finding words for it. And I don't know if anyone else relates, but I'm definitely right now, I think I'm also just like cognitively like so aware that 40 is around the corner and now that 40 is old. It's older than 30, but it's not old. I know that so many people still start their lives later in life, but I'm clearly neurodivergent. Look at me flitting around. I hope you'll bear with me. But I'm really starting to wonder, like, as I'm getting closer to whatever the end of life is, whether it's in 30 years or 20 years or 40, whatever it is, am I living my life today in a way that will mean that in 40 years, I look back and I go, yeah, man, I lived life. I fucked up sometimes. I did some cool things. I made some mistakes, but I lived life and I lived life by my own terms. And I'm definitely in an era or moment right now where I'm like, I think I may have let life happen to me again. And I'm not quite sure what that means for me now, Anyway, I hope y'all are having a good evening. Maybe you feel the same way. Let me know. Share your thoughts. I'd love to hear it because I don't know what I'm doing in life. Yeah. Apparently, being a grown-up doesn't make it easier. Okay, laters.